hard to follow here at Richmond when everybody wants to lead, and the man who came in here leading the points, Jimmy Johnson, is out of the race and finishes 40th. Tony Stewart has led 107 of the 156 laps so far in that number 20, but his persistent shadow has been Kurt Busch. Pole sitter Casey Kane third, Kevin Harvick, Jeff Burton.
This car here, though, we've been watching him. I've been watching him during breaks, especially Jamie McMurray in the 42 car, qualified back in the 17th position. Remember, even though he missed the chase when we were here in September, he had a good race car that night. Now he's moved up to the top 10, up in the 8th position. This car looks pretty good on this long run.
He's about a second behind Greg Biffle and 2 seconds ahead of Jeremy Mayfield, so right there in the rocking chair. Jeff Gordon slipped back a bit. He's back in 16th, just ahead of Carl Edwards and Jeff Green, or make that now Jeff Green in the 43 and Carl Edwards, or not.
Pretty impressed with Jeff Green. We talked about him a little while ago, and he told us, and I heard him on NASCAR Live earlier today on Speed Channel. He said, you know what, there's no question running that Busch car, the 4 car for the Biaggi brothers is going to help my Cup car.
For the lead, Kurt Busch is just harassing Tony to pieces here.
Tony's car just seems to fall off after 20-25 laps. He seems to lose a little speed, and a number of these guys, Kurt Busch, Casey Kane, and Kevin Harvick, they seem to catch him back up.
A lot like last night's race when Tony's number 20 was the 2 of Clint Boyer and Busch's 97 was the 90 of Elliott Sadler. Sadler would reel in Boyer on the long runs, and that's what Busch has done to Stewart. But it's not just Busch. It's Casey Kane also. Chevy, Ford, Dodge here fighting for the lead.
In about another probably 8 to 10 laps, they're going to catch the tail end of the field. And guess who the tail end of that field is going to be? Will be Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that 8 Budweiser car.
Yeah, you know what? It's almost like that penalty just took all the life out of the 8 car. We saw last week at Darlington when he, look out here, boys. It looked like last week, when they made a mistake and didn't come in and get tires one time, it kind of sucked the life out of him, and it's done it again tonight.
There he goes, though. Kurt Busch, that 97 car, he takes the lead away from Tony Stewart. Look at Casey Kane in the 9, turns it to the bottom. He wants second place.
Not going to get it this time, and the almost wreck we had was in turn 4 where Kyle Petty and Scott Wimmer got together but managed to straighten it out.
Boy, Casey just was able to pick that throttle up off turn 4. He just drove by Tony Stewart before they got to the start-finish line.
Larry, I believe what happens at 20 cars, he uses that right front tire up. It builds up a lot of pressure, and the thing gets to where it won't turn, and he can't get back to the throttle, and that's why they're able to drive by him.
Well, we heard Matt Yoakum say the car is tight. It's pushing the front end slide.
Right back there behind those guys, don't forget, though, is that 31 car. I mean, he is coming to the front in a hurry, too, with Jeff Burton.
And Rusty goes around.
And I'm going to tell you, Michael Walters in 15, how he avoided him. Looked like Jeff Gordon maybe in the 24. All but got up in the wall.
No, he didn't hit the wall. He just almost did.
It has been a night of a lot of almost.
Almost, yeah.
Because Rusty was running in about the 12th position, and here come about position 13th through 25th at him.
But one thing to talk about Tony Stewart and what happens to his car, these short runs are perfect for him. By the time he starts to give up, they get a caution, he gets tires.
We just had talked about it, and that caution, a huge break for Dale Earnhardt Jr., who was just about to go a lap down in the 8 car.
That nose on that Dodge. Isn't that a funny looking thing, the way it's on the short tracks, the way it's made?
Can't think of what kind of fish that looks like, but
yeah,
it's kind of like a muskie or a walleye or one of those. But anyway,
I bet the 18 and the 2 get together because they've been racing hard. And around goes Wallace.
Well, what this did do, it pretty much brought about 30 of our 31 lead lap cars to pit road. Kyle Petty in the 45, he stayed out again trying to get those 5 points, Steve.
Larry, Matt, Kurt Busch said his car changed dramatically in 32 laps. They dropped the track bar, made an air pressure adjustment. Matt.
And the 20 car, Tony Stewart, down and away. great stop by the Home Depot team. They made a track bar adjustment again, Dick. They're still trying to work on the exit of the corner.
Kasey Kahne's team has been flawless, and once again, they are the first ones out of pit road. Congratulating each other. These guys have been hot tonight. They have not lost a single spot on pit road, and on most of these stops, they have made chassis adjustments. They are doing every bit as well as their driver, Kasey Kahne. Team effort.
Bobby Labonte got blocked in trying to leave his pit, couldn't get past Carl Edwards. And here's another look at what happened between Labonte and Wallace. Boy, we saw a lot of incidents just like this last night.
Just watch how close Michael Waltrip in the 15 car just all but slides by.
Spin it, grab a gear, and go. Just your typical short track Saturday night. .169 laps complete as our Chevy pace car cam looks back at Kasey Kahne, who's about to get back on the throttle ahead of Tony Stewart, Ryan Newman, Kevin Harvick, and Kurt Busch. Jeff Gordon spent an extra lap in the pits making repairs and adjustments to the tie rod.
He's got something wrong, Mike. He didn't come up to speed, and he just got a problem. What is it, man?
DW, he lost a lap. He knocked the toe out, contact with the wall when the two cars spun. Problems continue for the 24.
We saw him stringing the car like they were checking the toe. We wondered if he hit the wall. He's definitely got a problem.
Tony has no problem. He's doing just what he did on the last restart. Running one lap, diving to the bottom, and retaking the lead.
Well, we just want to mark that because, you know, if we get late cautions here, that's going to be good for the 20 car.
We need to make note that Kurt Busch, the 97 car, those guys had a problem on the right front with a lug nuts reason he fell back. Look at Ryan Newman, Kevin Harvick in the 29 there, battling for third position.
Boy, Harvick was really kind to Newman there because he could have forced it down in there, but he gave him a break.
Now, Jeff Burton is running in 8th, but he had a mishap exiting his pit. Burton pulls out. Jamie McMurray is there. Watch the bump there. And now look at the, you'll see the damage on Burton's car on the right front.
And what would really concern me is that's where the right front brake duct area is. We've been talking a lot about cooling these brakes. It looks like possibly all of that brake duct may be torn, which could be a problem, Dick Burton.
Yeah, but no surprise, the spotter, Rocky Ryan, has told Burton, don't worry about a thing. That right front corner looks just fine. They're trying to pump him up. It's been such a long time since Jeff Burton has won a race anywhere. Phoenix, 122 starts ago, October 2001. He hasn't won since then. He had a good car before that pit stop. He was running in 5th spot.
I think he's still got a good car, Dick, as he runs in 8th place. Let's go back about, 12th place on back. Elliott Sadler on back, where you see the 6 of Mark Martin working around the 92 of Tony Raines. That's a lap car. And behind him, here comes Jeff Green in the 43, Ricky Rudd, Rusty Wallace, Dave Blaney, and Matt Kenseth, all in one big Y.
As these cars adjust, every time there's a caution, they adjust. They all get more equal, and they all start running closer together in tight packs.
3 wide. Not for long. Jeff Green slipped up the hill, and it's Blaney who bursts out of that pack in the 07. He and Ricky Rudd now fight for 14th as we go up to 3rd place, where Kevin Harvick's trying to take it from Ryan Newman. Not this time, Ryan says.
But I'll tell you, I'm so impressed with this 12 car. I know we still have a long way to go, 223 laps, but Jeff Hammond talked about it in the pre-race. This is a backup car this 12 had to unload, and they really didn't get any long runs with this car. They just barely got out at the end of that practice session, went out and sat on the outside pole.
Well, you know, Larry, they gave one away last week. Not pitting might have been the right choice, and maybe it would have been if a whole bunch of those lead lap cars had not pitted with him.
Just think about this. If they wad up on the restart, he wins the race. And so that was what he was thinking, I believe. If they get a caution on that restart, he wins the race.
I mean, this racetrack is plenty wide enough for 3 cars, but the groove really is, as you see Tony Raines in the 92 car, he didn't know what to do. He was just trying to get out of the way.
But the man in the right spot was Dave Blaney. It seems if you're on the bottom, everything that happens on this racetrack is going to shove up to the outside. And Blaney did a good job of taking advantage there. Matt's in Ryan Newman's pit.
He's got his mirror full of GM Goodrich now. Newman, he felt like they were not making a big enough adjustment. So the last stop, they made a wedge and track bar adjustment. The car still way too tight for Ryan's liking this early on in the race.
Harvick dogging Newman in 4th. Kurt Busch back to 5th. And Jamie McMurray 6th and trying to close. Jeff Gordon has come back to pit road. Jimmy Johnson hit
right side's on there when you hit that hill.
Johnson hit the wall and broke a tie rod. His Hendrick teammate, and they came in here 1-2 in points. They have had to adjust a tie rod, and now they're pulling the right front off again.
And it looks like not only are they going to change right side tires, they're going to continue to adjust on that some more. And the thing about it, we thought that Jeff Gordon went up and maybe hit the wall when Rusty Wallace spun out. Looks like maybe a tie rod issue. I know Jimmy Johnson had a pretty severe lick, but a tie rod broke on that car as well. I'll tell you what, we're riding with Michael Waltrip in the 15 car, qualified back in the 23rd position. Maybe was not that good at the beginning of the race, but here he's moving into the top 10 if he can complete the pass on Elliott Sadler in the 38. Michael told us, Darrell, this is the same car he ran 2nd at Phoenix. If I can get that 2nd groove like I did at Phoenix, I'm going to be good.
Yeah, he did, but I tell you, we were talking about the 38, and he just actually passed Michael. So I was watching those two guys, and all of a sudden the 38 gets around Michael, and looks like his car's really tuned in now.
And that's exactly what they did to his Busch car last night. Not very good in the beginning, ended up finishing 2nd.
Tony Stewart has Casey Kane beginning to close. The gap is down to 0.4 of a second. After 187 laps, we're almost to halfway in the Chevy American Revolution 400.